Hello YouTubers and all those who happen to watch. Now a buddy of mine, the Super Game Pug Bros, or in this case, or 5150 Pug as you guys would know the young man, had a little bit of a inconvenience towards his account. So he had to tell you about his new account and, give you guys the link or the description. Actually, I'll just give you the URL. It'd be better that way. It'd be in my description. And my tag would be easier to access all of his videos, so that way you can click on his videos and go and subscribe from that way. Definitely check him out on that channel. That's going to be his mainstay now because of a lot of inconveniences again. I can, stick up for people, but this is a thing for me. Now, this little situation going on that, it's honestly, I'm leaving it alone, and I'm just going to make content and help people make content and watch people's content like I'm planning to come on here to do anyway. This is the way I handle the website with my own end. So I was rewatching some of the old classic episodes and videos that 5150 sent already upload. Like the one he did, the Lego one, which influenced me to do my own little Lego thing as well, that little mushroom, as you guys remember. So, again, check him out on that channel. So, someone asked me a question about, it's basically how I handle things. This is something that, like a day or so ago, someone asked me questions. It was trying to reword it how they said it. Really tough one. Try to make it more easier to understand for people too. Basically what they asked was, how do you be there for your friends and how do you stick up for them? Now this is kind of a funny coincidence how that rolled into the situation that's happening kind of recently. I'm more of a mender with people than a fighter. I don't like fighting with people. It's part of my conscience, my morals. A lot of people have different ways to handle stress or handle fatigue towards a complication. Now, I'm going to tell you, disclaimer, I'm being serious. So, Funny Danny switching off now. Alright, so, long story short, 5150 had a conflictation with his account. So, people are asked and, followed up with, well, the way you defend your friends, how do you do it? Because I did hear about a previous encounter you had in the past with negativity towards your direction. Now, why didn't you, make videos defending people? Well, that's quite simple. Now, I can just look you right in the eye and tell you how I feel about that type of stuff. I don't really care. People go, just now you looked away. I was looking away just now because I thought I saw him off. Because my ADHD just kicked in. I was like, damn it. Gotta switch that mode off again. There we go. But I don't handle that type of stuff like everybody else normally would do with compulsion. I don't handle things compulsively. Now, results are obviously behind certain measures of, conflict and confrontation. I don't doubt that kind of formula doesn't work or does work. I don't doubt any of that. I think of it as a free bird kind of perspective, that I look down at the perspective and read it both and sit back and watch it both. Now, it doesn't mean I think that either person's wrong or right, because if a person's wrong, obviously, they're wrong. If a person's right, obviously, they're right. And, that's given. I support a lot of people for their content on YouTube and wherever else I was on. I watch their positive content. I always enjoy their positive content, and that's what this website's about: making friends, sharing your videos, and being there for that person. Now, there's no fine line and no definition behind it. Now, you can tell me up and down, you can make a video response to this, you can do whatever you want. Now, before you do that, though, make sure you watch this entire video before you do that, because I want people jumping the gun behind how I think. Now, of course, that's just being silly. So, with that said, how you defend your friends is how you do it. How I defend my friends is how I do it. I defend my friends by showing them the support they deserve, by watching their content, subscribing to their channel, obviously, because I did in the past, because I really enjoyed his content, and that's what it's all about. If you don't like the person's content, you obviously don't watch it. If you enjoy their content, you watch it, enjoy it, and laugh, and learn something, and benefactor from that person's experiences on the camera. It's, for me, I don't take the website or the internet's, I just said internet's, didn't I? The internet's, fuck it. I don't take it that seriously. Even though some people with serious fucking business. It's really for humor purposes as well as, resource purposes. As well as organization, blah, blah, blah. I, for one, don't really take bullying that seriously. I take it with a grain of salt and I laugh about myself. Now, if somebody is to insult me, I laugh about it, because I think it's funny. One for the creativity, one for the effort, and the other one for just for the piss take of it. Because I love it when people make fun of me. It's really what I feed off of more than anything else. Because I love laughing about myself. Because I have a very open mind about myself. Prior in the past, yeah, granted, back in the day, I was one of those type of kids that didn't take pressure very well, as people nowadays probably can't do. A lot of people can't take the pressure of neglect. People can't take the pressure of resistance, and people can't take the pressure of, well, piss take. A lot of people can't handle that shit. I'm granting people that right to feel upset about that type of stuff. Even though I wasn't the one that really supposed to grant them that fucking principle anyway. People go, well, you don't have no right to tell me what I can and can't do. That's true. So, again, why would you tell me or anyone else that what they have to do to defend someone or any other manner, It's really a silly situation. It's really a silly communication process as well, that a lot of people try to find the logic behind why people do certain things. That's the human nature. Curiosity runs wild in people's minds, no matter who you are. So, it's a really simple study. It's a really simple statistic. Every human's different. From color, from nationality, from logic. That's the only thing that separates a few people apart, other than, the genetic code, which makes us all equal. We all came from the same source, depending with whether it's religional or factual or evolutional, wherever you want to take it from. I, for one, take it as this. We're all created equal. I treat people equal. People treat me like shit. They doesn't treat me equal. They treat me like I'm supposedly lower than them. Or treating me like I'm just flat out garbage. I don't tolerate it, so I do the high ground, the moral ground, and walk off. Now, does that make me a pussy? To people who have a different way of handling things, people consider that a pussy way. I don't consider it a pussy way. I consider it that I had more logic to walk away from the situation, just to end it just like that, and ignore the situation from then on. And of course, that is how you handle a situation at some points. Other situations, like in person, someone takes a swing at your friend and the person's like defenseless, and then the person tries to take a swing at you. You floor the fucker, no doubt. You take him out. I would even support that. I would help you kick the person for a minute. But, again, it's two different ways you handle this shit. Again, you set yourself up if you go on the defensive with this type of stuff. Some people don't really care. Some people don't mind, the confrontation. I personally have more control over my anger. I have more control over myself, my well-being, than normal. It's because I have a clear thought behind it all. I have an egotistical way of saying it like that. People think I'm full of shit. But now, again, I'm being serious with you. I'm the type of guy that don't take shit from people, so that's why I ignore them. Because if you take shit from people, that just means you're justifying what they're saying about you. That's all you do. That's the same thing with bullying, same thing with racism, same thing with creed, all that other shit. I don't take it like other people take it. I take it with a grain of salt, and I ignore those fuckers. And that's just how I am. People try to test you with that after you say it, but I can read that a mile away. I'm not stupid. You know, a lot of people know me for not being stupid. A lot of people know me for having a big heart. Everyone else on here has a big heart as well, and that's why I can bond and connect with people. You know, a lot of people on here have strong, bold principles, you know, and you got to handle it a certain way. You can't be like gun-ho. I mean, what's said is said, obviously. People can handle it their own way. People can do it their own way, unique way. I don't stop them, obviously. Just for me, I just like doing what I'm doing. I like having fun on the internet. I like having fun making videos, entertaining people. That's what I like to do, make people laugh. You know, my brother knows me for being a big-hearted guy. Just recently, I don't like throwing this in his face, by the way, that's a disclaimer. I, you know, got him a game. I did that because, you know, he was feeling down. You know, I gave him a material item. He's playing it, you know, he's having a ball with it. That's what I'm happy about seeing. You know, that's the way you handle it. You help those people a different way. People are you got to do the exact opposite of how the directional for how it's coming to them. Because if you give it to them, that just justifies them for later on to getting angry about the situation. You can look this up yourself and how you handle things. Conflict is always best interest if you do it the opposite direction. People give you bullshit. You do something, you do an activity. Calm measures, very positive outcome. You know? Obviously, after a while, people will be over your shoulder giving you shit still, but you're the one that's still having fun. They're the ones wasting their time. You know, that's just how it is. It's really simple logic. People need to learn control. But again, you know, there's different ways you gotta handle situations. I don't doubt each situation can be handled that way. I don't say it is that way. People say, well, you're a biased asshole because you just said it. Well, you gotta handle it. You have to handle it in a rational way. A rational way doesn't mean it can't be war or some sort of conflict. You're misunderstanding me, which is really common. But again, you gotta handle it the way you gotta handle it. I handle it my way. I be there for the guy. I watch his content. I show him he matters. I show him that these people treating him like shit aren't right that way. That's one of the ways you be a friend for somebody. You be there for them. In real life, it's totally goddamn different. You know, if someone's going to take a swing at your friend, you block that blow. You take the blow. That's how you be a true friend. You do something, you sacrifice whatever you have in possession to be there as a true friend. That's what I saw a lot of people do here on YouTube. So I don't deny people that. So don't think I said I just denied you that. Don't pull that card of me. So again, you got to take it how you get it in real life. You got to take it like a man. You know, if you're a man, you know you're a man. You don't need to explain yourself to me or anyone else. You know who you are. If you're acting like a man in your own boundary, go for it, bro. All support. But if you learn how to handle pressure, then awesome, you know. Again, you're going to handle it with a clear conscience. If you know your outcome will become good by doing what you do, all the power to you. That's all I'm saying. So, again, disclaimer for the end of this video. If you take anything I said offensively, I'm sorry. I apologize. That's probably what you would want automatically. An apology for saying something that's opposite to me or something that's different from mine, you know. I apologize ahead of time if you feel that way. You know, it isn't like I didn't say sorry ahead of time. But that's just how I feel. And that's how you feel, that's how everyone else feels. Everyone feels differently. But however, we're still the same people inside. You know, I could share a story with you on how angry I used to be younger, but that's for a different video. So, other than that, take it easy, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. You got a serious vlog out of me for once.